Hi y'all, welcome back to Lives. I think it's time to play a little 7 Days to Die. Alright, I think today I'm going to do a little looting. Spend a couple of my points to bump up my perception and raise my looting to 2. My lucky looter. And yeah, I thought we'd maybe head up some houses over that way. I'm a little leery to get into some of these bigger buildings without a gun. So I thought I would start out at this end of everything. See how that goes, you know. Well, when I set out at this end of everything, I thought there'd be a road. Fine, you want me to drive across the lawn? I'll drive across the lawn. Try not to drive into the ditch, though. Alright, let's start with this place. Yeah, it managed to get in some show times. Well, I apparently don't have a wrench. Some show watching times, I guess. Caught up on the last 3 episodes I hadn't seen yet of the Halo series. I don't like the... Okay. I am not a Halo fan. So, as a non-Halo fan, I'm not as angry about the fact it's not following the storyline of the game. Although to be fair, I did read an article that said that Steven Spielberg is heavily involved in this project, and he hates video games. So, whether or not he actually hates video games, but apparently once he said that video games were, I forget what the exact quote was, but a detriment to society, basically. I hear that a lot. I don't know why people think I shouldn't be able to play video games, but you know what? I do. So, I read that they went over the script, maybe just for the pilot, but like 256 times they rewrote parts of it before they finally decided that that was what they wanted to go with. And yeah, it's not the strongest script. I really enjoy parts of the story, but there's other parts of the story that I can't stand. And I really don't like anything with... I don't even know the characters' names. I'm terrible with names. So when I see them on the screen, I'm basically like, oh yeah, that character. So the girl that got rescued by Master Chief in the first episode, whose father was like a rebel on Madrigal. I can remember the name of the planet. I don't know what that girl's name is. I can't stand anything to do with her, honestly. I don't understand how it ties into the story. They haven't done anything that even makes it seem like it's part of the same story. And we're 8 episodes in. So, other than he grabbed the first artifact there, I think. No. Nope, he didn't. The big artifact was there, right? I don't remember. Spoilers, anyways. Um, yeah, it's just I don't know. They've got like a totally separate storyline with characters unrelated almost to the main storyline with Master Chief, and I don't understand what the point of that was. I also still haven't found a headlamp. This may be the longest run since the addition of headlamps for me without finding a headlamp. Um, but yeah, so basically, I remember episodes 7 and 8, and episode 7 is all about that girl on Madrigal, and there's no point to it. I, she's not accomplishing anything related to the storyline. Now, I can infer that there's a possibility that the fact that the planet is like some big fuel reservoir, that maybe it has something to do with other parts of the story later. And I suppose having her in charge of the planet, which feels like what they're trying to push toward, might be beneficial to Master Chief when he needs that amount of fuel for whatever. I assume it's to activate the rings or something. Uh, but yeah, it's not related to the story so far, and it's a lot of useless time wasted on just a no story. I don't get it. It's not good to me. I No part of her story, other than the initial rescue, has been good. I just don't know. It could be I don't like the actor that's hanging around with her at the moment either. I never have. I don't know what it is. I've never cared for that guy, and uh, it's a place I haven't been apparently. And so, where did you come from? I didn't see you. I expected a zombie to come busting out of there. He must have been standing in the corner. And I know people really don't like, apparently, some of the stuff that went down in episode 8, but for me, as a non game fan, um, I've tried to play through that game. I don't like the way Halo plays. Uh, I haven't played some of the newer ones because I feel like I should play through the originals before I get to the later. Right, I own them. I have them on the PC. Right, I bought the Master Chief Collection. Ow. And so it's not like I don't have opportunity to play most of them. Um, and I do even have, dang it, the Master Chief Collection installed. And I've started playing through Halo Reach, which is like the prequel to the first game. But the gun and bullet system in that game are just annoying to me. Um, One would think that if you were designed to fight aliens with shields, that maybe you'd get better weapons to hunt said alien. Where am I? Oh, I said spawn near my bed, didn't I? Yeah. Um, but you get better weapons that would go through their shields a little faster. And so I don't enjoy emptying a clip or half a clip or whatever into every bad guy and then running out of ammo and having to pick up weapons that shoot even worse than the weapon I was using. Or if you do get a good weapon, then they never spawn a bad guy who carries the same ammo type for the whole rest of the level after you get done with your first couple of clips. It's not fun to me. Um, if it wasn't a shooter, I can understand we gotta make sure they don't have enough ammo for anything ever. But it's a shooter, so I don't understand why there's not enough ammo, and I don't want to be careful. I guess it's because you're running and gunning through a war zone. I guess is the concept, but it's not enjoyable. Um, like uh, there's a game, Resistance: Fall of Man, right? Also fighting aliens, but during like World War II or post World War II era. And that one's also a run and gun kind of game where you don't have enough ammo ever for a lot of your weapons. Um, but that one feels a lot better when you're playing through it. I don't know. Um, anyways, episode 7, hated it. Thought it was awful. Couldn't stand how much time they spent on Madrigal with those two characters. Um, don't understand the point of it. They haven't tied it into the main storyline. Like everything else going on ties into the main storyline, except for this girl trying to retake her planet from the corporation, and they mine fuel there. I don't understand the key thing. Like, I keep collecting these keys off of the key rack, but then I don't think I've ever found anything that opens with a key from the key rack. Does this open with the key from the key rack? Nope, this is just unlocked. But I thought episode 8 was pretty fun. I rather am enjoying the character Kai, um, because she's also a Spartan, but she's not overwhelmed and focused on the artifacts like Master or John. We'll call him John, like John is, and so I find it more fun to watch her character come to terms with. Look at my partially loaded in base. Uh, come to terms with her newfound emotions since she also removed her neural emotion inhibitor thing. And So there's some really fun scenes with her in there where she was like palling around with the regular soldiers, and then I really liked when big spoilers for episode 8. I really liked when Halsey was um, breaking herself out by taking control of the Spartans, and because the show has only got like 4 Spartans, um, she realizes that when Kai starts questioning her, that Kai is not beholden to her neural chip anymore, and so she has the other ones attack her and knock her out, basically, and then uh, she it's just really fun later when she's breaking free, smashing the bench she's connected to. You'd think I'd remember how to unload my gear. But yeah, I enjoyed that one. I kind of excited to see what happens next. Um, I really dig the betrayal. I'm gonna scrap this thing down. I don't think I want it. I like the betrayal that the one girl feels happened to her. Um, I don't remember what her name is either. The one that was captured by the Covenant and kept from the time when she was a child. Come on, go down the thing. Thank you. Um, I also got to watch the two episodes of the new Star Trek series. Now, I didn't finish Discovery, so I've gone back and started watching that one again. Um, I I don't dislike Discovery, but I also don't feel like it's a Star Trek series. I'm not against it being about war and stuff because if you've if you've watched a lot of the Star Trek series, there's always a background story of war at some point or another across the series. Um, and so it's not uncommon. Oop, this is not a house, and I was gonna not come into these places because there's too many zombies. Um, so like the original Star Trek, right? They always had uh, the Romulans. They were always at war with the Romulans, and they were at war with the Klingons for part of it. I think. I remember they had to have been at war with the Klingons, right? Because otherwise they wouldn't have had whole movies about Kirk fighting the Klingons. And so they had the Romulans. I think the Andorians were bad guys in uh, Enterprise. And then Voyager had their big war against species 476 or something like that. And the Borg were bad guys in Next Generation as well. There's big war against them. Whole movie based off of that. And Deep Space Nine, of course, had the changelings. And I seem to recall there being another group after the changelings. And then the whole planet. The Cardassians, right? There's the big war with the Cardassians and the changelings. So it's not like Star Trek isn't about war a little bit. And so I don't have a problem with that. It's just that the people on the ship itself are very war. War never changes, you know. They're very. It seems really late in the Star Trek timeline to me for them to be so bloodthirsty. Although there's a war going on with the Klingons, so I don't know, but it feels it feels very much like I'm watching a World War II thing where they're developing weapons as they go to try and stop uh, the enemy, and so it's a little weird. Uh, but Star Trek: Strange New Worlds, which is their new series, is very much Star Trek. Uh, it is. I mean, it's very much like original Star Trek in a good way, and I rather enjoyed the two episodes I watched. Although I did see a funny news article about how people were angry that there was a picture of protesters for a hot second in the one episode, and they're like, "Oh, it's politics. Politics have invaded Star Trek. Star Trek isn't about politics." It's not. I mean, it's always seemed pretty. Whoa. It's always seemed pretty political to me, but I mean, not like who you should vote for or anything, but definitely dealing with social issues. But yeah, it was weird to see him get so mad about something that I didn't even notice when I watched the show. Um, oh shoot. Basically, the captain is Captain Pike, who in the first series, Star Trek, the first Star Trek series, was heavily injured and in a life support chair, and they had met these aliens who could use their psychic abilities to make you be your normal self. Because they also had a woman who'd been in a horrible accident on their planet, but it only worked when you were around those aliens. And so if you left their sphere of influence, then you would revert back to whatever you were in. And so there's an episode where he basically I think they steal a starship to get him to that planet so that he can stay there with that woman. Um, uh-oh. Oh, double uh-oh. Triple up-oh. Triple up-oh? I don't know. Listen, guys, I got some issues here. I need a second. All right, my Nux broke. Is this where I saw those guns? I'm trying to find the spot where I saw those. There they are. A bag of guns. Well, into the sewers we go. Oh god. Jeez. I got squashed by a zombie. But yeah, he gave a speech to a species that had developed a bomb that was liable to wipe out most of the planet, and so he showed clips of different social unrest and whoa, and wars and stuff, and then led into basically they said he showed a picture of like modernish day cities, and then talked about how um, some unrest led to separation, and the separation led to civil war, and the civil war led to another war, and another war led to World War III. That was it. That was all he talked about. Uh, uh, and he just showed some pictures of basically when he talked about social unrest leading to a separation. Showed some pictures of protests. Um, and I didn't even. I mean, they were on the screen such a short time. I didn't even see what was going on. It wasn't my focus, I guess. Um, and so it cracked me up when I read that article where they were so mad about how they showed the protesters. But I enjoyed it. The show so far, it's been pretty good. Um, it's very Star Trek though. It's very like laughably pulling from. Oops. Yep. I need those. Very laughably. Not laughably. When I say laughably, I don't mean like this show was a joke. What I mean is like it's very noticeable. Let's go with that. It's noticeably pulling from some of the old Star Trek. Um, they they had a spot in there where the I was trying to think of which Star Trek it was. Star Trek Generations, the movie. There's a scene in there where I want to say Kirk is riding a horse, and then they come to get him and tell him he's got to go back. And so this movie starts out pretty similar to Star Trek Generations. Not the beginning of Star Trek Generations, but the after Kirk goes into the time ribbon thing. If you've ever seen Star Trek Generations, um, but yeah, it was funny because I'm like, oh, this is just like Kirk, and then I mean they straight up have young Uhura, young Kirk. Um, I was very surprised not to see like a young Scotty or young Bones on the ship. They do have a Nurse Chapel, but she's very different from the Nurse Chapel from the original Star Trek. I mean, I like her. I think she's a fun character on this show, but she is very different from original Nurse Chapel to me. And surprise! I broke down your stained glass window. Wasn't a very good one. I mean, it was a good window. If I was going to pick a stained glass, that's probably not the pattern I'd go for. Kind of looks like a pool room window. Yeah, it was good. And I've been watching Discovery. Discovery's been all right. It's just very continuous storyline, which I actually like in shows. But there's not a lot of. They don't develop the characters very quickly, and I'm about halfway through the first season, and I feel like things have both developed not fast enough and too fast. It's very weird to me that the main character. There we go. I needed a wrench. The main character is already in a relationship with another character who was only added like 3 episodes ago. Especially given that she was supposed to have been raised Vulcan. She has a lot of personality. And I feel like the short amount of time that supposedly has happened between her being raised on Vulcan by Vulcans as a Vulcan, even though she's a human, and her personality now, like when they need her to be detached, she seems detached, but most of the time she just seems like a normal person, and so it's weird that I wish I had some headlamps, especially since this game wants to make it be dark and rainy all the time. I can't barely see anything, and I didn't bring my torch with me. Where's the window I busted out to get in here? Right here. I'm gonna be in a dark room. I took this stuff back to my base. Um, but yeah, it's all right. It's I don't know. Some of the things that are going on, I wish they focused on a little more than they do. Uh, like they had this creature. Spoilers for Discovery. Uh, this creature that allowed them to use a special teleportation drive, and I think the teleportation drive is silly. Not the drive itself, but the graphics they use for when they activate it. Like it's like you got your starship, and then when they activate the drive, this whole starship spins, and then the background spins as well, and then it's in its new place. And I'm like, that's just why is the starship spinning? I don't understand. Like, explain to me, explain to me why it looks like the starship spins when this is activated. I don't see why it would look like that. I mean, I'm sure they thought it was cool. I don't. But you know what? I actually need this glass done in here. I'm not getting any lead this time. Next thing I really need to do here is I need to start looking at getting my farms in place, right? Let's see. I need this, and I need. I don't know what else goes into these farm. Also, let's not spell farm. Farm plot, clay blocks, right? Yep. Or not clay blocks, but clay soil. Oh, I definitely don't have enough clay soil. Better go down and get some clay soil in the dark and rainy. Uh, but yeah, basically they had this dude, and he was in a Klingon prison, and then they break him out, and then like the next episode, um, her roommate goes over to talk to him, and then makes her sit down with him, and then makes her introduce herself to him, and then I don't know. There's an episode where there's a time loop involved. It might be like three episodes after he gets rescued, and she's not the focus of the time loop. It's this other guy. It's not the dude. It's this scientist guy, and they have some heart to heart conversations about how to interact with people. That's very weird for him to have, and then he does a 180 personality for that episode, and then switches back the next episode. It's very weird. Um, and so I was very unclear as to whether or not she remembered what was going on. Because there were times where she would say something and it was clear she didn't remember what was going on, but then there were other times she would act like she knew what was going on, memory wise, because the day kept resetting and only the one guy remembered, and so I was very confused in that episode. But the dude was like, the scientist guy was like, "Dance with me. We got 30 minutes before the time resets." And so then he makes her dance, and then I don't know, they have a little chit chat about human interaction, and then she goes and she dances with that guy the next time around, and so it seemed like she remembered, because they don't show them talking to each other to restart their conversation. her and the scientist. But then, and then they kiss, right? And so then that's their relationship started right there. But then that got reset like twice after that, and then later she's like, "Yes, the scientist guy said we danced, and apparently I liked it." And I'm like, "What is going on with your timeline? I don't understand what you're doing." Um, but yeah, it's okay so far. Uh, Star Trek is very episodic usually, and so there's it feels a bit too episodic for the storyline they're telling, and so I find it a little weird when they oh yeah, I'm gonna have to go find Niter to be able to make these blocks. I find it a bit weird when they oh, I thought I'd totally get some farm block sooner than that. When they're like, yeah, here's this one weird thing that happens in this episode. Meanwhile, we had a whole like bad guy who was touted up for like the first 2 or 3 episodes, who then just vanished from the screen basically, and hasn't been seen since. It was like he was like this prophet guy, and then this other guy came in and was like, nope, they're my people now, and then he was just gone after that, and I haven't seen him since, and I'm like, why would this dude who was like a zealot just give up and walk away? And so there's a lot of that in the show too, which is a little weird. Or like the one woman was like admiral from the fleet told the captain of the Discovery that she was gonna have him removed, and then she had to go on this other mission abruptly and got captured. And then she went back, and then apparently she forgot she was gonna have him removed. I mean, she never had like a "I'm thankful that you rescued me" moment, and therefore I won't have you removed from command. So I'm unclear as to why she suddenly forgot that she was going to have him removed. I don't know, but yeah, I definitely like um, Star Trek: Strange New Worlds better than Star Trek Discovery. But I think Strange New Worlds spins off of Discovery, so that's why I started watching Discovery, because they referenced a couple of things that either happened on Discovery or I mean they must have happened during Discovery. Um, and so I would like to see those from the Discovery point of view. But all right, well, with that, I think I'm gonna call it a day. So be better than small things, lean into the light, and I will talk to you later.